everybody. I'm up from down south, I'm afraid, in Surrey to talk to you today. My name's Sarah Pavey. Some of you may know me, and I work in an independent school called Box Hill School, where we actually do the IB Baccalaureate rather than A-levels, and I'll come on to that in a bit. Basically, what I'm here to talk to you about is an essay puzzle which I'd created, which we've been using with our sixth form. Part of the problem that we've got is that for the IB, the International Baccalaureate Diploma, they have to write an extended essay, which is an academic piece of work, similar really to the beginnings of a university piece of work. So it has to be referenced, and they have to follow the research process in order to do it. But part of the problem we've got is that most of them, by the time they arrive in the sixth form, have got no experience whatsoever of essay writing. So this is the first piece of work often they've got to do. So I thought, well, we need an easy solution to deal with this, something to really engage them with the process and to get them started, because it was quite a daunting task for a lot of them straight after doing GCSE or maybe a qualification in another country. Because actually, a bit like Schlumberger, we actually have quite a lot of international students at our school. So of the 400 pupils, we've actually got 40 different nationalities. So it's quite an interesting mix, particularly in our sixth form. So I wanted something which dealt with the construction of an essay, how you put it together. And I also wanted something which would address the emotional aspects of actually having to write an essay. How hard was it going to be? What were they going to enjoy about it? And what were they going to dislike about it? And I came up with the idea of a jigsaw puzzle. And if anybody's interested, I have an example here which people could have a look at later on in real life. So they really do exist. I started off making these a year ago. I bought some cutters on eBay for jigsaw pieces, and I bought some foam, and I made them out of foam. And the students just thought I was mad, but they did enjoy doing it. So I actually found a company that would make them properly for me in the end. So first of all, I wanted it, as I said, to address construction of the essay. Now, by doing this puzzle, one of the first things that you get is that on the lid, there is no picture of the finished puzzle. So they don't know, just like an essay, you don't know what your final product is actually going to look at. So that was the first hurdle that it actually addressed. The second thing is that people tend to think, particularly if you've not written an essay before, they think you've got to adopt a very linear fashion and that you've got to start at the beginning with your introduction and everything, work your way through to your conclusion. And what the jigsaw puzzle does is it actually shows that it doesn't matter where you start. You start with the things that are going to be easiest and start piecing it together. Sometimes you may try to shove a piece of the jigsaw puzzle into a particular place, and I have seen pupils, when doing my puzzles, trying to literally ram it into the wrong place with much frustration, but actually I explain to them gently that it might actually fit somewhere else a little bit better, and they sort of get the idea that sometimes you've got to try things out. You can't cheat by looking at other people's work, because if you do, it's plagiarism. And this gives me my entry into talking about plagiarism with the students, because what I'll have is a table of 4 or 5 students working on a particular puzzle per table. So the temptation is there to have a little look at what's going on the table next to yours, and then it, as I say, gives me the opportunity to explain about that. Also, when they're doing the puzzle, I say to them that one person can complete the puzzle, the other people on the table can give advice, and they can make suggestions as to where things might go, but only one person should actually complete it. And then at the end, I ask, did anybody actually help put the pieces together? And there's usually quite a lot of nodding heads. So then we go into the ideas about collusion and group work, and we discuss those ideas with it. And finally, I get them to understand that the more they do, the more sense this puzzle is actually going to make. They begin to see the writing. It's a puzzle with lots of writing on it. And as they complete it, they can begin to read the text on the puzzle. And the text on the puzzle actually is a guide to how to write an academic essay. Then I looked at the emotional side, which I thought was really important because, as I say, it was a new task for a lot of them. Some of them thought, oh my G, when they opened the tin and saw 96 pieces of board puzzle, all with strange bits of writing on them, and just sort of wanted to close the tin and put it away. And I explained to them that for the International Baccalaureate, you haven't got that option, because if you don't pass the extended essay with at least a grade D, you're not going to get the diploma. It's an integral part of the qualification. So this was something which they had to overcome. Others, of course, on the table were jumping up and down with excitement, thinking, oh great, we get to make a jigsaw puzzle instead of doing real work in this lesson. So they were quite excited. One of the things was this, I would go round the tables and say to people that had actually managed to piece things together, how do you feel about that? What do you know, how good does that feel? And it spurred them on, it made them want to carry on and complete more of it. But this business of ramming the wrong piece into the place, it did cause frustration. And it gave me a chance to say to them, this is an emotion you really are going to feel. Yes. They looked around the other tables, and some of them could see that other people were actually doing better than they were. And this again either caused a competitive streak in them, that they wanted to get theirs finished quickly, or it had the opposite effect, and some people just felt like giving up. There's no point, because they're doing better than us, they're going to win a prize, if there is a prize. But school children do like prizes, I find it's a great incentive, particularly chocolate prizes, I find go down very well. But the more involved they get, the keener they are to see the end result. And I keep saying to them, this is it. When you read a book, when you do something, at the beginning it may seem tough, but when you really get into it, it becomes addictive. And you would be amazed at how many of the children that are doing this, school children doing this, really, really get keen on it and want to finish it and get very enthusiastic. Now, the other thing I do, which is very, very nasty, is that I wait and I look around all the groups, and when I see somebody that's got about 3 pieces left and they're sort of in the lead, I call a deadline. And I say, right, well that's it, sorry, time's up, you've got to stop now. Howls of protest. They just cannot cope with this. This is not fair, you know, I've still got 3 pieces to go. And I say to them, no, stop. This is something that you may feel if you've got to give your essay in before you've actually completed it, and it may happen, and you may not get as far as you would like. But now look at how much of that jigsaw puzzle you have completed. For the extended essay, you only need to pass with a grade D, this element of the diploma. So they can see, if they call the whole essay 100%, they can see pretty quickly how much they have to do in order to gain that kind of mark. So it kind of boosts them a bit as well.
Just say, I'm going to call a deadline now.